Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Asa. I'm one of your hosts. K Fabulous will be along any second now, and and this is AEW Weekly. It's the return of the AEW Weekly.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time we did this show.
Well, you did it with Wolf last time, I think. Didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a couple weeks,
Yeah.
but
Sorry, guys.
here we are. We're back.
Yeah.
And it isn't dark in here. We need a light.
Yeah.
Anyways, here we are. Welcome. I got some stuff to talk about this week. We had a Dynamite on Christmas. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, before I forget to say it all. Fuck this year, It was a great year in wrestling, so that was cool, but kind of a shitty year for almost everything else. And I don't think next year's going to get any better. Yeah, I think it's going to be the end of civilization as we know it. But that's for a different time and place. We'll talk about that. But yeah,
I don't think that. So if you want some not doom and gloom.
well, I would bet on it, but there would be no one to pay out the bet. Dynamite was on Christmas. We had Rampage on the 27th. Both were in New York, New York. That's how they talk, right?
Oh my god.
New York.
That was better. But
Hey, give me a fucking New York slice there. Hey, fucking pasta fajoule. Right? That's how they talk up there.
Yeah.
And then we had World's End on the 28th. So yeah, it was a big week for AEW.
Mhm.
A lot of stuff happened. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to do our top 5 men's rankings, top 5 women's rankings. Teams this week, there was only one tag team match. Private Party beat some jobbers. So we're not doing teams rankings this week because since the Continental Classic, the teams have kind of fallen by the wayside. So whenever they start doing teams matches again, we will start doing the teams rankings again.
Yeah, and we recognize that there was 8-man on the 0 hour, but we don't do 8-man.
We just do
teams.
tag.
Yeah, tag
tagging.
and trios.
Yeah, because those are what they have the belts for. Detective medicine. Yeah, she's been sick. Kay's been sick. I've been sick, and so I'm sorry we've had to cancel so much shit. But it's what can I tell you? It's winter.
Yeah, I've had bronchitis for a month. It super sucks.
Yeah, it's no fun. Anyways, let's get right down to it. AEW Dynamite on 34th Street, I think is what they called the Christmas Day show or Christmas night show, and it was from the Hammerstein Ballroom in Manhattan. Started off with a Continental Classic match, and of course that wrapped up at World's End. We had, for my money, the best wrestler in the world, Will Ospreay. He took on Brody King. I expected this match to be good, but I didn't expect it to be what it became.
That was just awesome.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. Will Ospreay was doing his usual shit, which I don't mean to, sound negative about it because the usual shit is awesome. And Brody King was like powering through Will Ospreay. I mean, the physicality in the match was something else. Very impressive. Both men, very impressive. It was a battle. Eventually, Ospreay hit the Stormbreaker on Brody King. He got him up and got him in the Stormbreaker. Didn't he hit a Styles Clash at one point?
Yes, he did.
Unbelievable. Will Ospreay is stronger than he fucking looks. I'll tell you that. Yeah, great match. Ospreay picked up 3 points. Ended up getting himself in the semifinals at World's End. And this match was fantastic. 5 bones out of 5.
Yeah. This was such a good week for wrestling matches.
It really was. Yeah. It was one of the best weeks of the year for AEW.
It might be one of the best weeks of AEW match rating wise anyway.
I agree. Yeah, they were on it this week. But yeah, that match was fantastic. Then we had another Continental Classic match, which I believe this was the first time these two have fought. I could be wrong, but it was Darby Allin versus Ricochet, and this was another excellent match.
You're not wrong. This is the first.
This was the first time. Ricochet has been amazing since he joined AEW. He was amazing before he joined AEW, but he's been especially amazing since he joined AEW. Although he's turned into a heel. I don't know if the fans did that or he did that or AEW or some combination.
Yeah, so I saw some people talking about this online, like about whether it was intentional or not. And someone made a really good point of like for I think it was Dynamite when they first started throwing the toilet paper. Like, who brings just a roll of toilet paper to a wrestling show? Like, they had to. I know. When at the pay per view they actually like passed them out of a wagon, like Prince Nana did, but they had to have given fans toilet paper and were like, throw this or Ricochet, you know? Or like had plants in the audience or something.
I don't know. People in New York are weird. Who knows what the fuck happened?
You think like people from on different spots of the arena all decided to bring rolls of toilet paper? Because it came from multiple directions.
I think maybe one guy brought it and gave it out to different people. And was like, throw this like it's Ring of Honor.
Oh, huh.
Bam, it's easy.
Yeah.
Rewind says it was good, talking about this week, but was it Taz good? I would argue it was Taz good. It was an awesome week of wrestling.
Yeah, it's really good.
At some point, we'll do a retro show with Taz on it.
Yeah.
We will. It says last week the GOAT Taz made his epic return to Hammerstein Ballroom. Yeah, had many an excellent match there back in the ECW days. And yeah, it was nice. It was great to have Taz back on commentary. You're just who we thought of when he came back on commentary too.
I forget what show it was when I was like, wait, that's Taz. I was like, where's Rewind? Where's Rewind?
But yeah, this Darby Allin Ricochet match, excellent. It went to a time limit draw, which I think was 20 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Excellent match. With the draw, Ricochet clinched a spot in the semifinals as well. So at that point we had Ospreay and Ricochet in the semifinals, and this Allin versus Ricochet match, 5 bones out of 5. Both these opening matches were just fantastic. I have nothing negative to say about either of them. They were great. 5 bones out of 5 for 2. I don't think they've ever started a show with 2 5-bone matches before. I don't think that's happened.
Not a non pay-per-view anyway.
I don't think they've even had a pay-per-view that started that way.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I gotta get you like little tiny toy bones or skeletons or something. So when you got like a bunch of 5-bone matches, you just like throw them, you know?
You don't think the dog would eat them?
Oh wait, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, our dog would eat them.
Never mind.
So Rewind says AEW provided the toilet paper. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that. Up next, we had another Continental Classic match. This was a non-title match. Ring of Honor World Television Champion Commander took on 1/3 of the World Trios Champions. Yes, those belts do still exist. Claudio Castagnoli of the Death Riders, 1/3 of the champions. It was a good match. Commander did his usual awesome stuff. Claudio seemed a little listless, and he's usually great. I just didn't. Maybe it was just the quality of the first 2 matches overshadowed this one. Could have been. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it.
I thought this was clunky feeling.
Yeah.
And you know, I read I don't know how true this is, but I read online that because like Commander took Juice Robinson's place, obviously. But Juice was supposed to be the one with the brass knuckles to like feed into the Jay White John Moxley storyline, you know, like that's why he cheated. Cause like I felt like with I'm looking at my notebook with Commander, was he the one that what are you doing? Was he the one that had the brass knuckles, Commander, and then hit Claudio? Or was that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I forget who slid in the brass knuckles. Who was it?
I want to say it was Daniel Garcia. Is that? It was someone who got hit with them. Yeah.
I think you're right. No. What it was Darby Allin. Remember, he left his pink Sherpa jacket under the ring, and in the pocket were the brass knuckles.
Oh, okay.
So Commander hit Claudio with a brass knuckles punch, and then he hit a springboard shooting star splash, off the ropes like he does, and pinned Claudio. And it was a good match. It just, like I said, paled in comparison to the first 2. I gave this one 3.5 bones out of 5. Good match, not great. Rewind says he had a friend go to the show, and that's what they told me. The toilet paper was under the seats. Interesting. Okay, thank you very much for that.
That makes sense.
And next, we had one more Continental Classic match. This was a non-title match, as the Continental Champion, Kazuchika Okada, of the Elite, if that's a thing anymore, he took on Shelton Benjamin of the Hurt Syndicate. And this was another very good match. Very physical. Both these two are wrestlers. With a capital W, if you want to say it that way.
All right.
Terrific match, and to my knowledge, the first time these two ever met as well. We saw several matches like that in the Continental Classic, where it's the first time people met.
But can I ask a question about the capital W? Can you give me an example of a lowercase W wrestler?
The Big Show.
Okay. Like the Big Show now, or the Big Show like when he was a giant?
Ever.
Okay. Right.
The Undertaker, Kane, and then like Chris Benoit would be a capital W wrestler.
Okay, so it's not the equality of the wrestler; it's just their
No, it
style of
absolutely
wrestling.
is.
No, but I mean, like
It's
like,
more the style. Yeah,
that's what I meant. The style, not their like
that's what I meant.
value as a wrestler in the company.
It's both. Style would be number one.
But you'd give the Undertaker a lowercase W?
Yeah, the Undertaker sucks.
I thought you loved him.
I loved him when I was like 9.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I loved a lot of things when I was 9 that I
Mhm.
realize suck now. Well, the Undertaker, the first like no shit, the first like 4 years he was around, he was awesome.
Mhm.
And then he started like expanding his moveset, and then he became the American Badass, and then he was like talking all the goddamn time. And just the longer it went on, the worse the character got, the worse he got at playing it. Um, his last match was awesome when he buried AJ Styles alive. That shit was awesome at the pandemic WrestleMania when they filmed whatever the hell they called it, the Boneyard match. That's what they called it because they didn't want to say a graveyard or anything.
Was that his last match? That wasn't his last match.
That was his last match. Yes.
I thought Goldberg happened after that at
No.
Saudi.
No.
Oh.
I don't think so. No. Anyways, but yeah, the Undertaker sucks. Didn't used to, but he sucks. So Eric Tate, Happy New Year. Thank you. Yeah.
Same to you.
Hopefully it will be better than the last.
Yeah.
But the Okada match, Okada pinned Benjamin, hit him with the Rainmaker before the pin. 4 bones out of 5. Good match. Good match. And so the semifinals, Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher and Okada versus Ricochet.
Sounds
Set
good
for
to me.
set for the pay-per-view. And we're going to talk in depth about the pay-per-view. I'm going to try and speed through these other 2 shows they did before it. Up next, we got Tony Storm facing like Ozempic version Taya Valkyrie or something. She really has slimmed down to the point where Kay Fabulous pointed out her tights, her outfit was loose looking on her. And
she needs to have the legs taken in. The leg holes are too big.
And Taya was accompanied by Deonna Purrazzo. Tony Storm still doing the amnesia thing, which I'm enjoying. I don't think it has a very long life to it, but I'm enjoying it for now. And Tony Storm pinned Taya Valkyrie with a cradle roll up. Decent match, 3.5 bones out of 5. And Rewind says, "Good point, Asa. Undertaker's no Taz. You're goddamn right, he's no Taz. That's for sure. Taz would be a wrestler with a capital W.
I see.
Yeah. All right, and main event on Dynamite was one last. Well, I guess I spoiled it, but people have already seen the pay-per-view. It was another Continental Classic match, another non-title match. We had the TNT champion Daniel Garcia facing the Protostar, as he is now known, Kyle Fletcher. And this match was another awesome one. Kyle Fletcher eventually pinned Daniel Garcia after a brainbuster onto a turnbuckle pad. That was rough looking. I think they fucked it up. Somebody fucked it up. Didn't look right. Looked brutal, but it didn't look right. But yeah, that aside, the finish aside, this match was bless you. This match was fantastic. Kyle Fletcher, as I said, got the win. 4.5 bones out of 5. So the Dynamite 2 5-bone matches in the main event, 4.5 bones out of 5. Pretty goddamn good show, I thought. Pretty good way to head in to the pay-per-view. But real quick, I'm going to talk about what happened on Rampage. All right. So real quick, it was Friday, December 27th in New York. Eric says, "Nice haircut. Thank you." Yeah. Trying to get a job. that's not working for myself on eBay. So yeah, New York again, Hammerstein Ballroom. We had another non-title match. So that was like 3 on Dynamite, 3 matches with champions that were non-title. On this Rampage, we had 2 matches with champions that were non-title. I don't like this trend here. Champions should defend the belts, but hopefully they get out of it. But we had the Ring of Honor World Champion Chris Jericho, and he was accompanied by Big Bill of the Learning Tree, and he fought Anthony Bowens, accompanied by Max Caster, and the Acclaimed are still together, but it definitely looks like they are breaking up. Jeremy Smith here says, I do believe Shane McMahon is coming to AEW early January. I think he's coming at some point. If you saw our prediction show, I predicted he was coming out after the main event of World's End, and I really expected it, and he didn't. But I do think Shane McMahon is on his way to the company. Yeah, I haven't heard anything for certain on that. They've had a meeting. You know, we have that picture with the Young Bucks. Like, I just think it's happening. So good match between Jericho and Bowens. Bowens definitely proving he can be on his own. And Jericho pinned Bowens, though, after Max Caster, he was trying to help Bowens out and hit Jericho with the Ring of Honor World title belt, but he hit Bowens.
Oh,
the irony. And Jericho pinned him. Good match. 4 bones out of 5. Up next, as I said, we had another non-title match. Not much to say about this. The World Tag Team Champions, Private Party. They beat Leo Sparrow and Alec Price. That's it.
Price seems to be a common jobber name. I feel, unless it's the same kid, but I don't think it is. I didn't recognize him. But I feel like we say that name a lot as like,
Yeah.
I mean, enhancement talent, not jobber, of course. Yeah, it just seems like a common wrestler last name for wrestlers that don't make it big.
Yeah, it was a squash match. Up next, we had Thunder Rosa taking on Layla Gray, and this was another squash match. Thunder Rosa looked great, I thought. She pretty much always does. She beat Layla Gray by submission. She put the Cobra Clutch on her. Sergeant Slaughter's old finisher, and Gray submitted. And Eric Tate saying, I like AEW is coming to smaller arenas. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The Hammerstein Ballroom atmosphere was great. I thought.
And it looks, I haven't seen much ECW, so I had never seen it. Such a cool venue for wrestling.
Mhm.
Like, oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, definitely. And Rewind here saying, I don't think Shane is coming. They would have done it at World's End. Just my opinion. Like I said, that's what I said. I still think he's coming. Yeah.
But we had like 2 big returns, didn't we, at World's End?
We'll talk about it.
I know, but I'm just saying, I feel like adding something on top of that.
Maybe that's why they didn't do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And this was the last Rampage ever. Well, for the foreseeable future, anyway. They canceled the show. AEW did, not the network. And so the last Rampage match ever, Hook beat Nick Wayne by knockout to the Red Rum. And good match, you know, between 2 of the youngest, 2 of the younger people in AEW. And at one point, Christian, Mother Wayne, and Kip Sabian were all kicked out of the ringside area. But Kip Sabian and Christian came back, didn't they?
Oh, did they?
They came back, yes.
I don't remember that.
Anyways, but as I said, Hook still won the match. Good match. Good main event. 4 bones out of 5. So the 2, you know, non-jobber matches, both 4 bones out of 5. So again, solid week for AEW. And now we're going to talk about the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Still a little sick. AEW World's End, December 28th in Orlando, Florida. We started off with the Continental Classic semifinal. Will Ospreay taking on Kyle Fletcher of the Callis family. And these 2, you know, they met several times in the last couple months. And all the matches have been fantastic. This one was no exception. And these 2 went at each other. and they were both at their best, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, Will Ospreay hit the Styles Clash on Kyle Fletcher, got the win. Gave this match 5 bones out of 5. Will Ospreay at the pay-per-view was maybe the best I've ever seen him.
Mm-hmm.
He was just amazing, I thought. So Ospreay advances to the final of the Continental Classic, which is, of course, for the Continental title. Rewind, talking about Rampage, says the Bay Goat doing his thing. Match of the night. Best something Rampage. It was the match of the night, yeah, for sure, on that Rampage. But so back to the pay-per-view. The other Continental Classic semifinal, again, a non-title match. We had the Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada taking on Ricochet. And so they're both technically heels, I guess. But this match, might have been the first time they faced. It was the first time they faced in AEW, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But man, Okada and Ricochet, again, just like the first match. Just terrific. Eventually, Okada hit the Rainmaker on Ricochet, and great match. 5 bones out of 5. Okada pinned him after that, obviously. 5 bones out of 5. 2 5-bone matches starting the pay-per-view, and we'll talk about our predictions.
We want to talk about them right now.
We can talk about them right now. Yeah,
Okay.
after the first 2 matches, where did we stand?
Okay,
So it was me, K Fabulous, and Wolf made predictions for the for us
and Willie. We had him join us in time.
and Willie.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and Willie from Willie Does Wrestling. So yeah, tell us.
Okay, so after the Fletcher and Ospreay match, all of us were 1 for 1 because all of us picked Ospreay to win. After the Ricochet Okada match, all of us were 2 for 2 because we all picked Okada to win.
And then the night changed from there.
Yeah.
And so next up, though, we had the AEW Women's World Championship in a Tijuana street fight match, which I thought was going to feature drug cartel members at ringside with machine guns. It did not. It was just a plain old regular no DQ match.
It was awesome.
But it was awesome. Mariah May defending her belt against Thunder Rosa. And yeah, the ladies, they tore each other up. And a very physical match.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, Mariah May got the pin on Thunder Rosa. Very good match. 4.5 bones out of 5. So 3 just great matches. This was one of their best pay-per-views of the year, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, just 3 great matches to start it off. Here, Rewind saying, we need Samantha Irvin in AEW. Samantha is a joy to listen to announce. You can tell she really enjoys doing it, and her personality comes out. So, I agree, yeah.
I want to see her as a manager. Because, I mean, part of the reason she left WWE was she wanted more than just announcing. Like, that's how she saw herself in the company when she first got hired, is from what she said anyway. I think she would just be like, if she was like a evil heel manager for Ricochet or something, like, I think that could be awesome. She's got good eyebrows for being like an evil manager, you know.
Personally, I like Justin Roberts better, but to each their own.
No, I like Samantha.
Rewind says smart money is always on K Fabulous to win the prediction to any wrestling program.
Well, you'll have to stay tuned to find out.
She did go perfect on Wrestle Dream in October. Yeah, she went perfect, which no one has ever done on our show before. It's tough to it's not always that tough to get everything but 1 match or 2 matches. It's tough to go perfect on a wrestling pay-per-view. It really is, because most of the matches are usually predictable, but not all. But to get them all, yeah, I was impressed in October.
Yeah, and in case you're new to us, this is what we're talking about. Wolf going into
World's End
was the No Bones About Wrestling predictions champion. He won for me at Full Gear this year.
It says ECW champion. Just ignore that. It's the predictions championship. Up next, we had the match for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. The man who's had it for 5 years.
Wait, I didn't say the predictions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, At the end of the Mariah May Thunder Rosa match, Asa was 2 of 3, and Willie, Wolf, and I were 3 of 3.
Yeah, I picked Thunder Rosa to win the belt. Did not work out for me. I didn't think she was going to win. If you watched our prediction show, I didn't think she was going to win, but I was trying to zig where they zagged and maybe pick up a point, and it didn't work out for me. Up next, we did have the Dynamite Diamond Ring match. As I was saying, MJF has had it for, I think, 5 years, and he was defending the ring against Adam Cole, baby, and just another terrific match. MJF, I think, all around is the best they have. Mic work and in ring combined. We're going to talk a little bit more about him later, though. MJF got the win, keeps his Dynamite Diamond ring, which has really become a part of his character.
Mm-hmm.
He'll hide it here, he'll hide it there, he'll hide it in his trunks. Always ends up, or a lot of times, I should say, ends up getting it out and slugging somebody with it. That's a giant ring, so the believability is pretty high there, and so MJF kept it. Great match. 4.5 bones out of 5. Another one. So to start the show, 5 bones, 5 bones, 4.5 bones, 4.5 bones.
Yeah.
I don't you just hand these ratings out. Like, these matches were fucking awesome. Okay, where do we stand in the predictions after the fourth match?
This is where it gets a little iffy, I think. So you, Wolf, and I all predicted Cole to win. And he didn't. And Willie correctly predicted MJF. So Willie was 4 for 4. Wolf and I were 3 of 4. And you are 2 of 4.
2 of 4, yeah. I thought Adam Cole was going to win the ring.
Yeah.
You hold the belt up?
Yeah.
Because Rewind is sharing a fact that I haven't shared before about the belt. Because we pretend it's not the ECW belt. But here he says that is the most prized possession in professional wrestling history. I don't agree with that, but you could. ECW was the shit. He says that's the belt Taz made after he unified the FTW and ECW belt after he beat Sabu. That's why his name is on it. Which right here, right there. If you can zoom in and take it in, Taz, yeah, and on the opposite side as well. If you can see there, it's kind of behind the bats, but you see it says Taz there. How heavy is that belt? Let's see.
2 pounds?
No, let's say like 3 pounds. Yeah, 3 pounds. I've had that for Jesus, 25 years probably.
But it was rechristened a year and a half ago.
Right, as the Predictions Championship. Okay, so 4 matches and I was doing terribly. Obviously, you can tell I'm not going to win it. But Kay and Wolf, and maybe the first time you've seen him, if you've just recently joined us, Willie of Willie Does Wrestling joined us. He's our neighbor from up north in Canada. Mm-hmm. And which is going to be the 51st state, I heard. So that's exciting. I've got to start doing a current events show. People will love that, won't they?
So you can stop talking about it to me on our AEW shows. Sorry.
All right. Up next, we had the international title match. Konosuke Takeshita of the Callis family defending his hard-earned belt against Powerhouse Hobbs, who had been on a roll since his return. Has been undefeated since his return.
I think we should note that he's formerly of the Callis family.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So this was a bit of revenge he was trying to take. He cut a promo on Rampage that I thought was good. Fabulous disagrees. It wasn't the best promo in the world. Yeah.
No. It was like he was like, no, that had none of his passion or his own thoughts in it, and you could really tell. Okay, what are you Sorry, I'll be right back, dog.
Yeah, dog. But yeah, so Takeshita defending against Hobbs. Again, this match not bad. It didn't measure up to everything else we'd seen already that night. their styles did not connect kind of the way I expected. You know, I mean, these are both big guys, and I thought we are going to see an interesting match. And he says good. I wouldn't call it interesting though. Eventually, Takeshita got the win, kept his international title, and I gave this one 3.5 bones out of 5. And let me see if I can read what Kay has here. No, I have no idea how she's been keeping up with this. So, going on to the next match, the AEW TBS title match.
I'll tell you the thing real quick. Sorry.
Okay, well, tell
So
us.
Takeshita, all 4 of us picked him to win. All 4 of us were correct. So Willie is 5 for 5. Wolf and I are 4 of 5. You are 3 of 5.
Rewind said it's a toy figure belt from 2000. Toy figure belt? No. What do you think? We giant sized it like the Honey I Blew Up the Kid? No, that was an expensive belt. I mean, expensive for me. I'm poor.
It's metal.
Yeah, it's metal. Yeah, metal and fake leather.
Yeah.
Right. So how a replica belt's not that heavy? Eric Tate says because it's metal and fake leather rather than gold or gold plating and real leather.
Wait, I thought they sold them in real leather and you just bought them in fake leather.
Not when I bought them. That was like the first, to my knowledge, it was the first wave. Like Rewind said, it is from like 2000, from like 99, 2000, somewhere around there. It's 2000 probably. He's right about that part. It was one of the first wave of belts. Like you can see this WCW belt back here, same deal. It was only WCW and ECW belts at first, and then eventually they made WWF belts. But by that point, I already had like 6 belts, so I was like, I don't need the WWF belts, and I like WCW and ECW better. So
you said that Toy Fig is the name of the company.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It used to be like this big, and then we stretched it.
Okay, I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. Thank you for keeping me straight. So wait, did you share the standings?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
You're
missed it.
3 of 5.
Yes, I know. And what were you and Wolf and Willie?
Wolf and I are 4 of 5. Willie is 5 of 5.
He was talking about going perfect, but he put a quarter in his ass and played himself. So up next we had the AEW TBS title match with Mercedes Moné, still undefeated in singles matches in AEW, and she was defending against former TBS champion Chris Statlander. And this, another excellent match on this show. I think probably Monet's best match since being in AEW. I think probably Statlander's best match since being in AEW as well. These 2 women, they brawled a bit. They had some technical wrestling. It was just a nice flow, a nice give and take, and a believable match, and a great match. Monet won. She keeps her belt. Still TBS champion. And I gave this one 4.5 bones out of 5 as well. Just like I said, it's a bunch of great matches on this show. I really enjoyed this show. So yeah, what were the standings after Monet won?
Yeah, so this gets worse for some of us here. So Wolf and Willie had Monet winning. So Willie is 6 for 6. Wolf is 5 for 6. You and I both picked Statlander, so I am 4 of 6, and you are 3 of 6.
Yeah, this was not my night. Yeah,
that wasn't just at you. That was also at me, because I'm competitive.
All right, so up next we had the Continental Classic Championship match, which is for the Continental title. And we had Kazuchika Okada defending his Continental title against Will Ospreay. And this is another, I know I keep saying it, but I mean, this was the night for it. This was a terrific match. These 2, this was Okada's best match since he's been in AEW. And I saw people online before the show talking shit about Okada. You better shut your fucking mouths. I mean, for real, like, what are you even talking about? What are you even saying? I heard people talking shit about him. They were like, they say he's the best tournament wrestler and he's only been average in the Continental Classic. He's been mid. And it's like, man, people fucking got too much time to type on their fucking keyboards for real. Like Okada is great, and if you say anything different, you're wrong. You know, there's a lot of room for opinion in wrestling, a lot of room, but that's not an opinion. That's a fact. And this match was terrific. Um, just a great match. Okada pinned Ospreay after the Rainmaker. This might have been the best match of the night. I'm not sure. I'll decide in a minute. Uh, but yeah, so Okada keeps the Continental Championship. I give that one 5 bones out of 5 also. So that's 3 5-bone matches on this pay-per-view. And after Okada kept the belt, we had a big return. We had Kenny Omega return, and we're gonna do. Yeah, I know. Thankfully, he's not dead or
I
anything.
know, that was so scary for so long. Like, not only that, but even once they knew he wasn't going to die, they thought he might not be able to wrestle again, you know?
Which, that's
Scary.
terrible.
Yeah.
You don't know what you got till it's gone sometimes, you know? I mean, we all realized how, excellent Kenny Omega was, but no one thought we'd almost lose seeing him, you know? It's terrible. I'm glad he's better. Johnny here, welcome, says, I want to see Monet versus Chris in an Iron Woman match. That would be cool. Yeah. I don't know about an hour, maybe 30 minutes, but I'm assuming you probably mean an hour.
Give him at least like 45.
45? That's
Kinda
it's either 30 or 60. I've never seen. Oh, maybe a 45. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to do the update from?
Well, here, Johnny is saying, he says Okada is great. Thank you for agreeing with me. He is in my 4 greatest matches of all time. Wow.
That's cool.
And Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
And he says there, 30 or 45 minutes would be good for an Iron Woman match. So yeah, what were the standings after the Continental Championship?
Okay, so Wolf and I picked Okada to retain. And so Wolf is 6 for 7, and I am 5 for 7. Asa and Willie picked Will Ospreay to win the tournament. So Willie, at this point, this was his first miss, and so he is 6 for 7. And for Asa, this is not his first miss. So he is 3 for 7 right now. Yeah, so Asa will be right back. So I guess I'm taking over because he ran away. So up next, we had the AEW World Title 4-way match. This show went by really fast. And it finished a little bit before midnight, I believe, or just after. And so it seemed shorter than most of their pay-per-views, which I guess maybe it wasn't, but it seemed that way. Maybe because it was just so good, I just got so sucked into it. So I said we're doing the 4-way match next, but that's all I said. Here you are, sir.
And Eric Tate says, what is the next AEW pay-per-view? Good question.
It usually is.
Revolution's in March.
I know, it's usually last year, the first one of the year was Revolution.
You may be right. I don't know. Why don't
Yeah,
you look it up? Why don't you look it up?
They're doing Grand Slam in February. I don't know if that's a pay-per-view this year since it's in Australia.
Yeah, I don't think they've said yet.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that too.
They've announced the calendar, except for
they've announced a couple things. Well, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Did you talk about the main event?
All I said was that that's the match we were on.
So yeah, the world title. Oh, and one thing I want to mention that I didn't mention. MJF beat. Can you take her out, please?
What?
Take her out, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. Dog stuff. Sorry. When MJF beat Adam Cole, Wolf had predicted that, he thought maybe some people might turn on Adam Cole, whether it was whatever the fuck they're called, Taven and Bennett, Undisputed Kingdom. Whether it was them or Roderick Strong or whomever, Wolf said somebody's going to turn, and I said there would definitely be some shenanigans. There weren't that many shenanigans, and Undisputed Era reunited. We were all talking to each other, so I didn't hear how the announcers sold it. So I don't know if this was just a one-night thing or if like they are a stable now. It seemed to me, it came off to me like they're a stable now. So Adam Cole, Matt, Mike Bennett, Matt Taven, Roderick Strong, and I feel like I'm leaving someone off. Can't think of it. I could be leaving someone off. That's why I should write things down. But yeah, so that happened. I just want to mention that. And so we go to our main event, the world title four-way match. We had the champion John Moxley, who everyone knew was going to keep the belt, leader of the Death Riders there, and he took on Hangman Adam Page, Switchblade Jay White of Bullet Club Gold, and Orange Cassidy. And personally, I was going for either Page or Cassidy. I don't have anything against White or Moxley. I just like those two better. But as I said, we all knew Moxley was going to keep the belt, and he did. And it was a good match. It could have been a mess. It wasn't as long as I expected, and the ending felt a little anticlimactic. But it was a good match. I gave it 4 bones out of 5. Good, not great. But this pay per view was fucking great. And I will mention after the match, I think we all got it right with Moxley winning. Duh. But Willie, after the world title match, he predicted Christian would cash in his contract and win the world title from John Moxley. So Willie had one more match prediction than the rest of us. So we said, if that doesn't happen, you miss it. If it does happen, you get it. And so Willie and Wolf, I think we're tied at this point. Like I said, I can't read how K Fabulous kept up with it. But I believe Willie and Wolf were tied. So it meant if Christian came out and won it, Willie would win. If that didn't happen, Wolf would win. As we know, it did not happen. So Wolf kept the predictions championship. And when K Fabulous returns, I'll tell you what he finished. He did pretty well. I think he was like 7 for 8. I could be wrong, but I think he went 7 for 8 on this show. She'll let us know. But yeah, great show. I give it 5 bones out of 5 overall. As I said, we had 8 matches. 3 of them were 5 bones out of 5. 3 of them were 4.5 bones out of 5. 1 was 4 bones. I mean, just like I said, it was good shit. I really enjoyed it. And obviously, to me, it was not that predictable. To the others, it seemed a little predictable, but it was a great show. Johnny here says, I would have preferred if the conglomeration and the Guns got involved in the 4-way. And Eric says, do you think World's End is like Starcade? No. Maybe it could become that, but no. Man, I don't know what would be their Starcade. I'd probably say, I mean, it's not in December, obviously, but what would you say? Full Gear?
Their Starcade?
Oh, All In.
All In.
All In. Duh. I forgot about All In. All In, yeah.
That should not be a question.
And Johnny says the pay-per-view only went 3 hours and 37 minutes. Yeah.
I thought it felt short. I'm sorry.
Which, well, it didn't. It felt shorter because it was. Now, usually, most pay-per-views in wrestling history, like 3 hours. But this one, it wasn't as long as most AEW shows, but I thought it was a good time.
Well, that's what I was saying when you were gone, and that's why I hadn't gotten to the main event yet, because I was saying that this one went by so fast, and I don't know if that's just because of how like consistently awesome most things were, or if it just was shorter in general.
If you watch the watch along, we talked about a lot of stuff that wasn't wrestling. Yeah. We had our friend Dylan on, who we hadn't talked to in a little bit, so we got away from wrestling a bit.
And our friend Willie.
And but Willie was interested in the wrestling above all. And it says, hey, love the shout. Yeah, what's up, Willie? And if you haven't checked out Willie Does Wrestling, check him out. He's on X, he's on YouTube, all that stuff. He does like WWE 2K24 Universe Mode and just talks about wrestling, and you'll see him on our shows more, we hope.
Hopefully, yeah.
Eric says, I like short pay-per-views.
I do too, but this one was so good, I just wasn't ready for it to be over.
I was fine with the length. I thought it was a good length. And Johnny here says Ricochet should get a brand deal sponsorship with Scott's Tissue. That's funny. That would be pretty good. So yeah, how did the no? I can't read your shit.
My system.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the main event, did you already tell them Willie's like side prediction?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the main event, all four of us chose Moxley to win, which she did. So do I even have the totals on? So Wolf is 7 for 8. Asa is 4
for 8.
I am 6 for 8, and Willie was 7 for 8, but because he said that Christian was going to cash in and win, and that didn't happen, a point was deducted.
Oh no, he went 7 for 9 because he predicted an extra match with
7 for 9. Yeah,
rather than 7 for 8 is better than 7 for 9. So Wolf won.
Wolf retains his champion.
And Willie says he's available for the next few days. Good. I'll get up with you.
Yeah, maybe we'll do the WCW.
Well, we're doing a Dynamite watch along Wednesday. I'll talk about all this later.
Mhm.
We're doing an NWO Sold Out 1997 watch along on Thursday.
Friday's the awards.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
And Collision Saturday. I'll go over all that at the end.
Yeah, but you're welcome to come whenever.
Yeah. You're always welcome, Willie. Well, except on this show.
Yeah.
This is just Kay and I. Yeah, so every other show you're welcome. All right, so now it's time. It's been a while. It's time for the top 5. The AEW top 5s. We sweat, we slave, we strive to bring you the most accurate rankings we can. And these rankings are always just for the week that has passed. It's not all-time best, our favorite, anything like that. It's kayfabe, who had the best week. Top 5 men, top 5 women. We usually do top 5 teams, but as we mentioned, this week there was an 8-man tag, which we don't rank 4-man teams. We just do tag and trios. And then Private Party won a squash match. So that's not enough for us to rank. So we didn't even bother with teams this week. Hopefully they'll get back to some tag and trios matches very soon. The man Lucha says, okay, now I'm officially jealous. I don't know about what, but you don't be. It's fine.
Maybe about Willie winning the belt or Wolf winning the belt. I don't
know. You can tell us. Yeah, let us know. So what, men or women first?
Let's do men first.
All right. So for the men, oh shit, that's the wrong one. I was about to start reading it too. All right, for the men, number 5, he lost at the pay-per-view, but just was excellent. Kyle Fletcher of the Callis family comes in at number 5, just barely, just barely beat out Hangman Page, I believe, for the number 5 spot.
Which, think about the week Kyle Fletcher had. Had that match against Garcia on Dynamite. He had that match against Ospreay to open the pay-per-view.
True,
he belongs in spot.
Well, and he beat Garcia, the TNT champion, on Dynamite. Yeah. That's a good point. The man Lucha says he's jealous because we're watching Sold Out. We'll just watch it. It's on Peacock. Yeah. It's on the WWE Network, wherever the world that is in Europe, and who knows where else. And you can probably find it elsewhere. Of course, I would never encourage you to do anything illegal, but you could probably find it elsewhere too. But it's we're watching Sold Out 97 Thursday at 7:50, 750. Yeah. So everyone join us. It was a weird show where the NWO hosted it. That's why it's called NWO Sold Out, not WCW. And they hosted it, and they invited WCW stars to face them. So every match is NWO versus WCW. And the WCW guys, they didn't give them any music or shit like that, or pyro, so they just walk out in silence.
And the refs are NWO refs too, aren't they?
Well, I don't want to go into that. Okay.
Yeah, so you should join us. And if you're worried you'll forget, just subscribe and turn on your notifications because we'll go live on Thursday. And I have put a schedule on X, and at the end of the show, I will talk about our week schedule also. All right, so back to the rankings. Number 5, Kyle Fletcher.
Number 4, the man who kept his international title over Hobbs, Konosuke Takeshita, also of the Callis family. So good week for the Callis family. Number 3, he beat Fletcher at the pay-per-view, but of course lost to Okada, but was the star of the fucking pay-per-view, if you ask me. Will Ospreay had 2 of his best matches in AEW. He's had so many, it's hard to narrow them down. I mean, the guy is amazing. Uh, he's so much passion is evident in everything he does. His matches just come across so well. So yeah, number 3 went 1 for 2, but like I said, did a great job. Number 2, of course, Kazuchika Okada kept his Continental title, beat Ricochet in the semifinal, beat Will Ospreay in the championship. Pretty good week. He would have been number 1 if not for Jon Moxley, still the world champion, and he's been number 1 for a couple months now. Johnny says Revolution should be renamed the Death Riders Revolution. That would be kind of interesting. And Eric says, is Max going to be commercial free? Oh, Max. Okay, I thought he was talking about MJF.
I read it as Max Caster the first time, so that's funny. Yeah, we gotta get used to that.
Is Max going to be commercial free for AEW shows? I think it depends on what subscription you have. So, like, we have Max with ads. So I'm sure we're going to get ads. But now I'm not sure about this. So don't take this as a gospel. But I imagine if you have Max with no ads, I imagine you'll see all the matches, instead of getting the picture for picture and stuff like
So
that.
you'll still see the match. It'll just be picture in picture, is what you're thinking? Because I
don't know.
I don't want to miss part of the show.
I don't know. I mean, it's not TBS anymore, so I don't know how the hell they'll do it.
Well, after the first episode, we might be upgrading our plan if that's the case, but
we'll see. Johnny says Don Callis might be manager of the year. Might be. And he also says Max Caster is the best wrestler alive. That's what he says. I like him. I think he's very entertaining. I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for. All right, now the women's top 5. Number 5, she lost to Thunder Rosa on Dynamite, but she looked pretty good. She looked improved. As I said, she's on like Ozempic or something. She slimmed down quite a bit, and that's Taya Valkyrie, number 5. Number 4, she also fought Thunder Rosa, and what?
I thought your list was on your phone.
Oh,
that's
fuck.
not my list. That's not your list.
Nope.
Don't listen to him. Ty Valkyrie's not.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was reading my list.
Get on the list.
So I apologize. That's not the list. I'm sorry. Yeah. So yeah, I won't reveal the whole process, but she does a list, I do a list, and then things happen from there. So I'm sorry, that's not the women's top 5. Number 5, this is number 5, Toni Storm. She got the win. Who the hell she beat on the
on 0 Hour?
No, on Dynamite or whatever.
Dynamite, she beat Taya Valkyrie.
Oh, right. It was Toni Storm.
Yeah.
I thought it was
0 Hour, she beat Layla Gray.
Right. So yeah, 2-0 this week. Toni Storm, the rookie, comes in at number 5.
I love that you're a rookie. I love that everyone's playing into the amnesia thing. Like, I love it.
Number 4, fantastic match with Mercedes Moné. She came out as the loser, but it was a great match. Number 4 is Chris Statlander, former TBS champion. Number 3, she beat Layla Gray on what, Rampage? Yeah.
Who are you talking about? Oh, Thunder Rosa?
Yeah.
Yes.
She beat Layla Gray on Rampage, but lost in the world title match against Mariah May at World's End. But again, just a fantastic match. Awesome match. So Thunder Rosa, number 3. Number 2.
Ripley?
The lady.
Hey. Sorry.
Ripley,
come here. Our dog is going somewhere forbidden.
Number 2. The lady who is still undefeated in singles matches in AEW, and that is Mercedes Moné, the AEW TBS champion. And number one, she's been number one for months. She's been excellent. And that is Mariah May, the AEW Women's World Champion. So number one, Mariah May. Number two, Mercedes Moné. Number three, Thunder Rosa. Number four, Chris Statlander. Number five, Tony Storm. And the men, it was number one, John Moxley. Number two, Kazuchika Okada. Number three, Will Ospreay. Number four, Konosuke Takeshita. Number five, Kyle Fletcher. So yeah, with the men, we had two Japanese guys, a British guy, an Australian guy, and Fletcher's Australian, right? Yeah. And an American. So probably the most international top five we've ever had. I feel like. In the women's, well, in the women's we had three Americans. I'm not sure if Thunder Rosa is Mexican or American. Is she Mexican?
She's from Mexico, yeah.
So three Americans, a Mexican, and Mariah May is what, British?
Yes.
So shows you how truly, international. I hate to reuse the word, but how international their talent base is. How global their talent base is. Very good.
And just to answer the question from a while ago about 2025 pay-per-views. So February 15th, which is when Grand Slam Australia is a Saturday, and it has the start time at 5:30. It says AEST. Is that Australian Eastern Time?
I have no idea.
But I can't imagine that's going to be my point. Is that I don't think that's going to take the place of Collision. I think it is, but I think it's because that's a pay-per-view. I don't think that's like a fancy episode of Collision. So February 15th, I think, is the first pay-per-view.
All right, now we're going to talk a couple topics we have here. Going to try and wrap up by 8:30. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. First, before we talk about those, we of course have. Oh, Johnny says, let me talk about this for. He says, "You going to watch Wrestle Dynasty?" Yes, we are. We're going to do a watch along for it. January 4th. It starts at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Our watch along starts at 10:55. Take that. So yeah, 10:55 watch along January 4th. 10:55 p.m. January 4th.
So we're not doing a Collision watch along that day.
Not that day.
Okay.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna take a nap and then
and
then we'll watch Wrestle Kingdom.
That sounds good.
Wrestle Dynasty, excuse me. Wrestle Kingdom, I think, is the day or two before. Mm-hmm. Wrestle Dynasty. We're doing. Yes, not Wrestle Kingdom. So yes. So now we have Kay Fabulous with her fashion report.
Yeah, so these are the fashion do's and don'ts, and I need new glasses, so now I get to take them off so I can read things.
Do.
If you are one of our dear wrestling aunties, do show your New Year holiday spirit by wearing a dark silver sequin top and have a costume change into a blood red velvet cocktail dress partway through the show, like Renee Paquette did at World's End.
Do.
Actually, they're all dudes.
They're all dudes.
Everything was good.
They're all dudes. Everything's good.
If you were doing a series of shows in New York City, do wear New York Knicks colors as Private Party did on Rampage, or do wear custom King of New York trunks with I Heart New York NY on the back, with the skyline on the front and some tree branches, of course, because this belongs to the Learning Tree Chris Jericho. And then this is the first time I've done this, but I have a special category.
Okay.
So if you want to be the best dressed female wrestler in AEW, do model your style after Thunder Rosa, who killed it with her wrestling fashion this week. On Rampage, she wore a black leather vest with 14 to 16 inch long black leather fringe hanging all over it. It was awesome. And then underneath that, she had a black patent leather top, and the bottom was it looked like dripping liquid. It was the hem was really cool. And then, of course, at World's End, all I can say is psycho old time clown, and it was awesome and nuts, and I loved it. So she gets the biggest props probably for the year for fashion. Love Thunder Rosa.
She does love Thunder Rosa, yeah.
It's true. All right, and that is your fashion report.
Thank you, Kay. We appreciate it as always. So yeah, a couple topics we're going to talk about, and we're going to try and be done by 8:30 here. We'll probably be done a little before that. just in case you have like a hot date or something for New Year's Eve. We're
Oh,
not
yeah.
we're not gonna be here all night.
Forgot.
You forgot it's New Year's Eve?
I did.
Yeah, we don't drink or like leave the house or anything like that. So I tell you what we're gonna be doing for New Year's Eve. What we do every New Year's Eve though is we watch Ghostbusters 2, which the last third of the movie,
Mhm.
maybe more than that.
Yeah, I think more than that.
Maybe the last like half of the movie takes place on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And man, if you've never seen Ghostbusters 2, well, cancel your hot date. Stay home and watch Ghostbusters 2 tonight.
It's my favorite Ghostbuster.
Oh, it's not I mean, it's great, but it's not the best Ghostbusters movie. But
like it the
that's
best.
another
Yeah.
discussion for another time. So AEW.
Mhm.
The Max debut, the Max streaming debut is tomorrow. AEW Dynamite Fight for the Fallen in Asheville, North Carolina, our home state, my home state, Kay's current state.
No, I identified as my home state.
Oh, it's our home state.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So yeah, in Asheville. So donate if you can. Asheville got fucked up by Hurricane Helene, came way further inland than people thought, flooded Asheville, destroyed several towns around it, destroyed a lot of Asheville. So people are still trying to get their lives back to normal, back in order in Asheville and around there. So donate if you can tomorrow.
Yeah.
We were hoping to go to the show, but we spent too much on Christmas, so we're not going. So my point is here, are we going to eat popcorn during Ghostbusters 2? Perhaps.
We have Ghostbusters popcorn buckets we can eat it out of.
I have two of them. We have a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man
and a
popcorn
firehouse
bucket and the Firehouse from Frozen Empire. Yeah.
We're big Ghostbusters people.
Yeah, Ghostbusters is my favorite series. My favorite movie is Ghostbusters 1.
My favorite movie is Ghostbusters 2.
Weird. They're both fantastic, but 1 is way better. 2 has more ghosts in it though, so.
And more fun.
No. Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's more fun, but the first movie has like a dramatic storyline and a comedic storyline that sync up. That's why part 1 is so good.
I mean, I love them both, but
Yeah.
my heart goes to part 2 a little more.
Okay, so the AEW Max debut, the streaming debut, is tomorrow. And they are still going to show Dynamite on what TBS it's on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, on TBS. So here's the question. You know, now that they're going to be on Max, and if you have Max, AEW has already put content on there. They've put some past pay-per-views. I'm not sure what else. I haven't watched it because I've seen everything, but they have put some past pay-per-views on there. So here's the thing. Here's the question. Do you think this is going to significantly affect the size of AEW's fan base, or do you think it'll stay kind of the niche it's become?
I think it could very likely increase their base.
I'm not asking if it could. I'm asking if it will. I want to predict.
I'm sorry. Yes, I think it will.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you why?
Yeah.
I don't know. Most people I know, like as a teacher, either coworkers or even my students, they don't have television channels, and so they don't watch I've met one student ever who watches AEW wrestling, and that was before it was even on television. She used to watch it on YouTube. So I think it's just opening up this is an option to people who don't have cable and who love wrestling. And like some of these wrestlers, if they did watch WWE or even growing up watching WWE or F, I'm not sure which one he was on at the time, but like with Jericho, I mean, there's going to be names there that they're familiar with, faces that they've seen on like buses and stuff from AEW, but more largely from WWE.
Jericho, Big Bill.
Yeah.
Ricochet.
Moxley. I mean, we could go on and on, but we don't need to. But so yeah, I think it's just going to open it up to a wider audience. I think a lot of people actually have HBO Max because of the HBO part of it. Like, well, I mean, we didn't have it, but
It's not. You're behind the times. It's not called HBO Max. It's just Max.
Okay, well,
which makes it sound like it's Cinemax, but it's not.
Yeah.
Which Cinemax, if you don't remember it, if you're too young, Used to play movies until 11 p.m., which then they started playing softcore pornography until like 5 in the morning. Go ahead with what you were saying.
Well, HBO had that real sex show. That shit was dirty. Anyway.
Yeah, that had some hardcore pornography on it.
Anyway.
Well, I guess hardcore denotes insertion.
Yeah, no, there was no.
There was no hardcore.
But there was a lot of like fetish stuff. It was very interesting. I learned a lot.
It was real sex. If you're interested in sexuality and fetishes, find the HBO Real Sex series. Very interesting stuff, which I watched in secret.
Me too. Separately, obviously, I was in Florida and a teenager. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think that it's just going to expand the audience. Plus, being able to put their pay-per-views where people can see them, because I think AEW TV and AEW pay-per-views are a different experience.
Are the pay-per-views on Max?
You just said they put some of their old pay-per-views on.
They put their old ones, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
So
okay. You go back and watch some of those amazing shows that maybe you didn't have money to pay for at the time because pay-per-views are expensive. Like, this is a great way to expand their fan base, I think. The end.
I totally agree. I have nothing to add.
All right.
I totally agree. And I hope so, because I love AEW. I mean, I love WWE as well in a very different way. I like AEW a lot better than WWE currently. Now, if you go back to WWF in those days, it'd be a little closer for me. But I want to see AEW succeed, just like I want to see WWE focus a little more on wrestling and also succeed. So hopefully, it will bring some more fans in. I think it will. I think it will. I don't see how it can't.
Yeah.
Going to be on a streaming service and a TV channel.
How long are they doing that for the full year? It's going to be on the TV channel?
I believe so.
Interesting.
And Johnny here says, I like WWE stories and I love AEW in-ring wrestling. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. WWE is way better at building their characters, at making characters that you care about. Still, they're way better at that. But AEW's wrestling just puts them to shame, I think.
Except for the women, you said the women's.
Oh, the women, yes. The women in WWE are better than the women in AEW, which they're all, a lot of them are fantastic. But the women in WWE are definitely better. The moves look like they have more force behind them, more contact, and the selling. That's another thing WWE does better, selling, than AEW. Someone needs to teach a lot of these guys and gals how to sell moves. Eric says, I still miss the name WWF. Me too. A lot of times I still call it WWF because that's what it is, really. Let's be honest. You can call it whatever the fuck you want, but WWE, fuck that. It's WWF. And if you're too young to remember, there was the World Wildlife Fund. And I don't think anyone was getting confused with which WWF was which, but there was a lawsuit, and that's why WWF had to change their name.
I thought that was because of the internet.
Excuse me?
They wanted to have it copyrighted so that WWF couldn't have the website.
No, WWF, there was a lawsuit. World Wildlife Fund did not want to be associated with WWF, which had like pimps and porn stars and prostitutes. And
I thought the internet was part of what brought that on, though. Like wanting domain names.
I don't know.
So that they could, anyway.
Maybe. Johnny says the AEW women have better hardcore matches, though. True, true, definitely true. All right, the next thing I want to talk about, the last thing I want to talk about before I talk about our schedule for the next week. You have two things?
They can be moved to another time.
Yeah. I want to talk. What are they? Let me see.
Well, I think the one that I want to talk about is about the Continental Classic.
No.
No?
We already talked about it. What else?
No, about how you book it without getting all the heat out of your trios and
What's the other thing?
Monet and who you would have her lose to eventually. But that's fine. We can go with your thing.
I have something I think's more interesting.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Go
Hopefully it is.
Yeah.
I want to talk about of course, we've all heard it, all heard the term, the AEW 4 pillars. And when I say that, we're talking about MJF, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jack Perry. At one point, the 4 biggest homegrown AEW talents. Maybe still. Maybe still. But that's what we're going to talk about, is what kind of year did these guys have? where do they stand? You know, did 2024 increase or decrease their stock as a pillar of AEW? So first, let's talk about MJF, who is probably the number one pillar. You could make an argument, but like I said, all around, I think MJF is the best they have. Mike and in ring, I think MJF's the best AEW has. What do you say?
He's also the only one of the four that's been world champion.
Correct.
So I would give it to him for that alone. But yeah, I think yes, I think so. Although I would say Darby is slowly working his way up
Well,
there.
we'll talk about him in a minute. Let's talk about MJF.
I guess my phone would agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he still has the Dynamite Diamond ring, which, as I was saying earlier, became very much part of his gimmick, part of his personality. So that's a good decision, probably. And as we know, he's going to be in Happy Gilmore 2, which comes out next year, 2025, almost this year.
He has another movie coming out too.
Does he?
That Camp movie, or did that come out and I missed it? Remember?
No idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, the first time in AEW he missed for filming a movie after Iron Claw was for a movie about like a Jewish summer camp.
I do kind of remember that. I have no idea if that came
Okay.
out or what. Here Johnny says Sammy's the weakest of the pillars. We'll see. We'll talk about it. So 2024, do you think MJF stock went up, down, stayed the same? What do you think?
I'm gonna say it went down a little bit.
Went down.
Yeah.
Why?
Because if you think about his 2023,
yeah,
that whole storyline with like the devil and
which was good until the end.
Yeah, and with like Adam Cole and like the whole best friends change, like and him going face, all of it was just awesome.
Yeah.
Until World's End, where everything fell apart and it stopped. Last year's World End, just to clarify. So yeah, I think his 2023 was much stronger than his 2024. Plus, he missed so much of this year, you know, for injury and then for other stuff.
I agree. Yeah, stock went down a little bit. His talent or performance did not decrease.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said, the storylines he was involved in weren't as good, and yeah, he missed a lot of time. So, yeah, I mean, where he was kind of driving I wouldn't even say kind of, he was driving the promotion at one point. It hasn't felt like it this year. So I think his stock went down a little bit, but I still think he's the number one of the four pillars.
Yeah, I agree.
And Johnny here says MJF has the best Iron Man and dog collar matches of all time. Oh, I wouldn't agree with either of those, but they were good. They were both great. No doubt. Best dog collar match of all time. If you've never seen it, Starrcade '83, Rowdy Roddy Piper versus Greg the Hammer Valentine. Fantastic, bloody, vicious dog collar match. Starrcade '83. It's on Peacock. So check that out if you haven't seen it. The whole show's good, really, but that match and Flair versus Race are the best, and probably the dog collar match is probably the best match on the show, I'd say. Mm. Oh, Johnny's seen it and still thinks MJF's match is better. Okay, to each their own. I'm not gonna tell anybody they're wrong, you know.
Except about Okada.
Yeah. Like I said, if you don't think he's good, you're just wrong. You just don't understand what wrestling is, really. For real. And Johnny also says the Pillar 4-Way is my favorite 4-Way of all time. It was a very good one. It's a very good one. I'm not a big fan of 4-Way matches, but I enjoyed it. Yeah. Okay, so up next, Sammy Guevara is currently one half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions with Dustin Rhodes. And now let me ask, do you see Sammy now being in Ring of Honor? Do you see that as a demotion?
Sorry. Here, you talk for a second.
Okay, I'll answer. I do. So yeah, I mean, you can't help but see someone going from AEW World Title matches to Ring of Honor Tag Team matches. You can't help but see it as a demotion. And here Johnny agrees with me. Yeah. And again, it's just like with MJF. It's not like Sammy's talent decreased or anything. I think Sammy Guevara is fantastic. It's not like his talent decreased or anything. Just the way that Tony Khan has used him decreased. He missed a lot of time for a concussion. Maybe he got a second concussion. I can't recall. We're both still coughing. I'm sorry. Um, and he missed time because he almost squished Jeff Hardy's head like a grape. Um, so he got suspended because he finished the match. But
He didn't follow concussion protocol.
yeah, I don't know. In wrestling, the rule is generally you finish the match. So I don't know what they told him, what they didn't. I have no idea, but they suspended him for finishing the match. So I don't know.
It was for how he finished the match.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't that he finished it, just the way he finished it.
Yeah. Again, I don't know what they told him, what they didn't, what to do, what the protocol is. Who knows? But they didn't like it. AEW didn't like it.
Hey, Steven.
So yeah, hey, what's up? But no, Sammy, you saw it as a demotion.
I did, but not because of the Ring of Honor move, but because he's in another tag team. To me, that was a bigger deal. He was with Jericho for forever, and I think he's really ready to be out on his own.
Yeah.
And so putting him with Dustin, while it's great for Dustin, I feel like is not great for Sammy.
I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, they're a great team. I've seen some really good matches with those two. I think Sammy belongs in AEW.
Mhm.
I think he's good enough. He's smart enough, and doggone it, people like him.
I think a lot of people, for some reason, seem to not like him.
That's a Saturday Night Live thing. Okay, Stuart Smalley.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like him, but I think that's because he's a little sex pot.
Oh,
Sammy.
You mean like men don't like him because
he's a little he's cutie, yeah. So that's what I think. That's just my theory. Because as a wrestler, he's fantastic. So yeah, I don't get why people don't like it. Well, he said a couple things that people don't like, but I won't go into it all. But one of which was a joke. I mean, it might have been a dumb, inappropriate joke, but God, I make those all the fucking time. So I don't know. I always say a joke's a joke. You know, if the intent is to make a laugh, and obviously it is not how you really think, that's a joke. That's what a joke is. So I'm not going to go into all that though. We're talking about wrestling. So up next, maybe the one who stuck. Oh wait, okay. So we didn't say. Did Sammy's pillar stock go down or up this year? Down, yeah. Unfortunately, so MJF and Sammy both down. This next guy, I think, will agree that it's gone up though. Darby Allin. He lost in the Continental Classic, didn't even make it to the semifinals, but had some very good matches in it, especially with Ricochet on Wednesday last week. But he lost in the Continental Classic. It seems as though he's a world title contender. And there's Johnny talking about Sammy Guevara a little more. And it seems as though Darby Allin is going to be a world title contender for Jon Moxley. I'm not sure when he's climbing Mount Everest.
The window's in the spring usually.
Yeah. Is their spring the same as our spring?
I meant in our spring. Is there?
In our spring.
Yeah.
Well, what season is it there then? Fall? I don't fucking know. So, anyways.
Very well educated.
Yeah. Well, usually I know that kind of stuff, but I really don't know. But anyways, he's gonna climb Mount Everest. I don't know when he's doing that. I don't think it's quite as dangerous as they made it out to be. Of course, people have died doing it, but if you look it up, it's like nowadays it's just like a line of people doing it.
Really?
Yes, at certain times of year. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a line, just people in a line going up the mountain. So I mean, I'm not saying it's tough. I couldn't do it, or I'm not saying it's not tough. I couldn't do it, but you're just in a line. It doesn't seem like a very dangerous or challenging thing to me.
I feel like when you use dead bodies as trail markers,
that's true.
It's probably pretty dangerous.
Well, it used to be more dangerous. Now we got all this REI equipment. You know, you got like Camel water packs and fucking electric underwear and all that shit. And you're talking about dead bodies from like 100 years ago.
Electric underwear will save them.
Yeah, like heated underwear. Yeah, they'll save you. I wish I had some. Uh, yeah, that's what I was talking about, Steven. Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, so Darby Allin, great year. I thought. I think he's really improved as a wrestler, and Lord, he really improved on the microphone. He used to be awful when they first started letting him talk. He was the worst. And he's now that he's speaking from his heart, it seems like to me, speaks from his heart. He's really improved.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kay?
Oh, he's like a different person listening to him. I used to just like cringe. I mean, I've always liked Darby, but on the mic, it was just awful. Like like a kid reading a part in a middle school play. Awful.
Yeah, it was. Yes.
And now, I mean, he's just got that emotion and that fire, and it's so believable to the fact that like to the point where like I actually believe this is what he is thinking. Mainly because his acting used to be so bad, but maybe he's just like really improved.
And as Johnny said, I agree with this.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Darby had the bump of the year going through that glass. Fuck yeah, we were there at Revolution. God Almighty, I thought he was gonna die when he did it. I thought he was gonna fucking die or paralyze himself. It was super dangerous, and he nailed it, man.
Yeah.
Eric says, "How come no more Rampage?" I think the ratings have something to do with that. Plus, I think AEW wants to really focus in more on their shows, especially now that they're on Max. So I think just getting rid of the 1 hour, C show, uh, just seemed like a good idea for them. I believe that's what's going on there.
Didn't they copyright a new name for what sounded like
They
a new
did
show?
copyright a name,
Like-
Shockwave.
Yeah.
Thunder was
I
WCW.
realized that as soon as I said
They did copyright Shockwave, but I believe that was going to happen on Fox. And from what I've heard, it's kind of on the outs now, and that's all I know about him.
Oh, okay.
So Darby, his stock went up, yes,
Oh,
this
for
year
sure, yeah.
as a pillar.
Like, I mean, I really,
Excuse me, I'm
I thought
sorry.
he was gonna win the title from Moxley.
Yeah.
Before all the win the title from Bryan, I should say, before all the bullshit with Moxley. But
I don't mind Moxley being the champion. He's fantastic.
I'm not being the champion.
Johnny says Darby and Sting, the best undefeated tag team of all time. I'll agree with that. Yeah, for sure. I couldn't name another undefeated tag team,
What a good name.
but one of the best tag teams of all time without the undefeated on there. Yeah, I think so. Steven says Darby looks like a toothpick version of Sting and a crash test dummy. That's a good description. Yeah. But yeah, I like him a lot better than I did, and I think just his standing in the company is much better.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think he should be the one to beat Moxley for the belt. I don't know if I feel the same way. I think they should have pulled the trigger or should pull the trigger on Orange Cassidy.
Sure.
I mean, he's so over. He's so good. He's he was around before AEW, but he's very much a homegrown star. And yeah, if I were picking someone to win from Moxley, who defines AEW right now, the style as a leader, as a character, Orange Cassidy, I think is one of their top guys.
Ooh, but if Christian cashes in and Christian wins it, then Darby can go after Christian to save his friend Nick Wayne.
Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah.
That's a good call there. Johnny says, would you consider Britt Baker a pillar? I would actually. Yeah. Yes, I would. It's not up to me, but if I had to pick the pillars, she definitely would be. I would have some women in there, and she would probably be the first one I'd put in there. Yeah.
She's more of a piece of scaffolding than an actual pillar.
Okay. Steven here says Copeland beats Moxley at All In, and Christian cashes in.
I like it.
And Johnny here says as soon as Darby defeats Moxley, which a lot of people think is going to happen, Christian's going to cash in his briefcase, which a lot of people, or it's not briefcase, but we know what he means. His thing.
His fancy clipboard.
His fancy, holder. But a lot of people say, yeah, exactly what Johnny just said. So we'll see. We'll see. Darby seems like he's due for another year going upwards. All right, and the last of the four pillars has had a confusing year.
Yes, he has.
And that is Jack Perry.
Yeah.
So he had he's a scapegoat. He's the man who CM Punk assaulted, and ended up getting fired over, and he was the TNT champion. He had a fucking like Deathmobile, like Jeepers Creepers. Um, he tried to murder Darby Allin at one point.
Mhm.
Um, he gets set on fire, right? He got set on
Set on
fucking fire by
Yeah.
Darby
With a
Allin.
giant flamethrower.
But he lost the TNT title to Daniel Garcia and disappeared. I don't know the last time I saw Jack Perry. Wasn't on the pay per view. Wasn't
Mhm.
this week. Wasn't on any of the television. Wasn't mentioned. And then also he was part of the Elite with the Young Bucks and Okada. But is the Elite even still a thing? The Young Bucks are off TV,
Mhm.
supposedly returning soon, but they're off TV. And Okada never mentions it, and you never see him with Jack Perry. So I
Mhm.
don't think the Elite is a thing anymore. It may be when the Young Bucks return, but not right now.
Yeah.
But what do you make of Jack Perry's year?
I mean, for the amount of talent I think he started the year with,
Mm.
he has done astonishingly well because his mic skills were terrible.
Yeah,
Like just awful.
he's improved.
They
Yeah.
tried before the CM Punk thing at All In, they turned him heel, I think pretty unsuccessfully. Not that people didn't like him as a heel, but people just didn't like that character. Like he had sunglasses and classical music and a leather jacket, and his hair was in a ponytail, and that was like the extent of his personality as a wrestler. So I think this like CM Punk thing really boosted his career a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he did a great job while TNT title, especially at the beginning. But AEW keeps like losing the thread as they're following a story,
Yeah.
and they have just lost it with Jack Perry. I mean, like,
yeah.
I think it's sad.
They could get it back, but
They
they've
could,
certainly lost it for right now.
and,
Yeah.
and to have him drop the fucking coolest belt I have ever seen, and like, I
don't know about that, but it was cool.
Dude, he smelted it.
I know that's cool.
That's awesome.
Not even close to the coolest belt I've ever seen, but it was cool. Go ahead.
I don't remember what I was saying now. To have him drop it to Daniel Garcia seemingly like randomly, especially because it was like right after Daniel Garcia was feuding with MJF, it just seemed like out of nowhere to me, you know?
Well, he resigned and got rewarded, Garcia.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I understand it, and from that,
the storyline, it
yeah.
was out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Steven says he still believes Perry joins the Death Riders. So what do you say, Jack Perry? His year stayed the same, went up, went down. His stock.
Oh, it went up, I
Yeah,
think.
I agree.
And also, I think whether it's the Death Riders or not, he needs to be in a stable. He can't stand alone yet, I don't think. Like, he needed the Elite.
Yeah.
You know,
I think you may be
I don't
right.
think he's ready.
I think you may be right. All right, so real quick, don't take a long time. Just off the top of your head, rank the four pillars as they currently stand: MJF, Guevara, Allen, Perry.
From this past year, or just period?
Period.
MJF, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, no, Jack Perry, Sammy Guevara.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, MJF, Darby Allin, Jack Perry, Sammy Guevara, and that's just. I mean, no, I'm not talking about talent.
Yeah.
we're talking about where they stand in the company. Steven says Death Riders will add members eventually. I think so.
Yeah.
Johnny says, "Where's Wardlow's stock today?" Man, in my mind,
he's invested it in WWE. Would be my
yeah.
if he's smart.
Yeah, if he's smart. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I hate to say that. I'm not usually for people jumping to WWE, but man, he definitely should. Yeah, Wardlow's injured. We don't know.
That.
Well, you were just told it last week.
Oh, no, I forgot.
And forgot. Yeah, Wardlow's injured. I don't think we really know the extent of the injury, when he's coming back, if he's coming back, all that. But he's phenomenal in the ring. He's fantastic on the mic. Even he was very good right before he got injured, got taken off TV, whichever happened 1st. But yeah, in my mind, Wardlow is one of the best that they have all around, and just by look, mic, in ring, just I mean, should be a world champion. Should have been in the main event scene a couple years ago, if you ask me. Oh, he said he had a car accident this past year. I remember that now. Yeah. Okay, so that is the show for tonight, folks.
You want me to say the Dynamite card? You had me pull it
Oh,
up.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So tomorrow night's first Dynamite on Max and still on TBS. That's the card.
So this is the special Fight for the Fallen episode, as Asa mentioned earlier, with proceeds going to Asheville Hurricane Relief organizations. So we have John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and and Wheeler Yuta, sorry, versus Adam Copeland and FTR, now known as Rated FTR, I believe. We have Jamie Hayter versus Julia Hart, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy makes an announcement about, not Jeff Hardy, Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett.
Sorry. Jeff Jarrett makes an announcement about his career. North Carolina Hardys is just in my brain. We have Orange Cassidy versus Hangman Page, which I am also really excited
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
And we have Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin versus The Acclaimed.
Cool. Yeah, sounds like a good show to me. Sounds like a very good show to me. Because somebody asked why didn't they make a big deal about the episode. I totally agree. They should have made a way bigger deal about it, like WWE's doing with the Netflix thing. You make a big deal about it. It seems like a big deal. Now, just on paper, the WWE Netflix card blows away this AEW card. I mean, you got John Cena returning. You got Owens versus Cody Rhodes. No, that's at the fucking pay-per-view. You got several good matches.
Can I make two predictions
For what?
for Dynamite?
Okay.
I think Shane McMahon is going to show up.
Oh.
And I think Speedball Mike Bailey might show up and be part of AEW.
I like those. I like those predictions.
I have no basis for the Speedball thing. Just, I think it should happen.
Very talented guy.
Yeah.
Or very talented person, as he wants to be referred to. As they. Nah, fuck all that shit. He's a man. Yourself. I did correct myself, but I decided fuck all that shit. So yeah, he's a man. He's a he. If you want to meet him and call him a they, that's on you. Steven says Collision, good card as well. Garcia versus Briscoe, yeah, for the TNT title. Storm versus Perazzo, Acclaimed versus the Hurt Syndicate, yeah. Steven says no comment on Shane, and Johnny says I'm surprised Tony never brought in female legends.
So I also think Beth Phoenix might be showing up because she's married to Adam Copeland. They live in Asheville. I think she might make an appearance at the very least.
Lord, Eric says they said Raw might be 4 hours this Monday. I fucking hope not.
God,
I haven't watched yesterday's Raw. I still need to watch that. No spoilers, please. Yeah, and Steven says Beth Copeland shows up taking care of Marina Shafir. We will see.
Good idea.
Everybody, thank you for talking. We are ending though. Johnny, Stephen Chambers, but I have a little more to say, so don't tune out just yet. Eric, Rewind. Is that everybody who talked? Yeah.
No, we had the Lucha person.
Oh yeah. Lucha Demand Lucha, is that right? Demand Lucha, yes. Everybody, thank you for talking. Those of you who didn't talk, feel free to talk to us. As you see, unless it just totally goes against what we're talking about, I try to mention the comments and reply to them, So yeah, if you're watching, if you don't talk, just don't be so shy. Just talk. I'm never mean to people. I might disagree with you, but I'm never an asshole. I don't think so. I am brutally honest, but I'm not an asshole. To you, at least. Okay, so our schedule for this week, we've got a bunch of stuff coming up. Tomorrow night, the first Dynamite on Max, we're doing a watch along. It's going to be K Fabulous, myself, probably Wolf, maybe Willie. I believe Willie may join us. So yeah, looks like a good show, and our watch along starts at 7:55, and of course Dynamite starts at 8. We'll come on, just talk, for 5 minutes about what we think is going to happen, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's Wednesday. Thursday night at 7:50 p.m. We are watching NWO Sold Out, and that will be K Fabulous, myself, and maybe Willie. And so it was 1997 Sold Out, and I described it a bit earlier, but basically it was NWO versus WCW. NWO, it was their pay-per-view where they hosted the pay-per-view and invited the WCW people for these matches. And so it's a very interesting pay-per-view. Some people say it didn't come together as it should. I thought it did, but it's very interesting. It's a unique pay-per-view, so it'll be fun to watch. Thursday, 7:50 is when we start, 7:50. And then I just take 10 minutes for people to get in the room, for them to get their peacocks up and direct. And and then we'll start at 8. But like I said, 7:50 get in. We all get synced up, and then at 8 we have a countdown, and then we all press play so that the watch along actually works. Friday we are doing our year end awards. It's going to be K Fabulous, myself, Wolf probably, and Willie probably, hopefully.
Mhm.
And but yeah, year end awards for WWE, for AEW, maybe some other stuff. We'll see. Those are the only two I've been watching right now, and one independent company we go to, AML. But we're gonna be doing year end awards. You know, wrestler of the year. You know, well, male wrestler of the year, female wrestler of the year, gimmick of the year, best match of the year, and then some different ones too.
Mhm.
They may not see everywhere. And that's Friday at what time?
You didn't tell me a time.
Let's say Friday at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Friday at 7 p.m. And all this I'm gonna post on X and Blue Sky if you're on there, and Facebook. And so that's Friday. Saturday we're doing. Oh wait, that's
Wrestle Dynasty.
Wrestle Dynasty. Yes, we're doing a Wrestle Dynasty watch along. 10:55 p.m. Eastern Time. The show starts at 11 p.m. But yeah, Wrestle Dynasty, big show. Bunch of good matches going to be on there. Kenny Omega's first match back as the biggest one. And of course, we have Zack Sabre Jr. versus who? What, Ricochet?
Ricochet.
Oh my God.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
So yeah, some good stuff. So that's Saturday, 10:55 p.m. Eastern Time. Sunday, Wolf and I are doing WWE Weekly, 8 p.m. Sunday. If you haven't watched that show, it's like this show, AEW Weekly, but we try to make it different. I don't want to just do the same thing and paste a WWE on it. We have more discussion on that show than on this show. Um, and like I said, we try to make it different. So check it out. Sunday at 8, WWE Weekly. Monday at 7:55 p.m. Wolf and I will be doing the WWE Raw watch along, the first Raw on Netflix. So definitely check us out for that. Maybe Willie, we'll see. Willie's wanting to get more involved with us, and so we will have him because he's great. And then next Tuesday, we're right back here, AEW Weekly, 7 p.m. So, like I said, I'm gonna put all this on X, Blue Sky, Facebook, and also we're having our we've surpassed 2,000 followers on X. Thank you, everyone. When we started this, I wouldn't have believed that if you told me. I know it's not a ton, but I'm proud of it. And we're doing a big giveaway, a big one of AEW stuff. So that'll first be posted on X, but it'll be on Blue Sky, on Facebook. And it's the usual thing. Like this post, retweet it, or something like that. It'll be in the post. But yeah, there's what all is there? There's a Darby Allin plush doll. There's a signed sky blue photograph. Darby Allin makeup kit. Uh, Several micro brawlers. Claudio Castagnoli micro brawler. Jungle Boy micro brawler. Excalibur micro brawler. Is that it? So yeah, 3 micro brawlers, a Darby Allin plush doll, a Darby Allin makeup kit, and a signed photograph of Sky Blue. So someone's gonna win it. So like I said, that'll be on X, Blue Sky, and Facebook. You can enter all 3 places if you want. So you can get 3 entries because I'm gonna post it on all 3 places. And just watch for that post. It's gonna come up at some point tonight. It's not gonna be right now because I'm gonna take a break. But it'll be up at some point tonight. It'll go for like a week, so there's no rush to do it really. But yeah, someone's gonna win all that shit. So as a thank you to y'all, thank you very much for following us,
Mhm.
joining us, talking to us, sharing us around, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like this video, subscribe if you don't want to miss any of the stuff I was talking about. Like I said, we're trying to go 6 nights a week. We're trying to go every night but Friday. But this week we're gonna be on Friday also with the award show. So we're on every night this week. We love you. Happy New Year. Hopefully 2025 is gonna be better than 2024 because I don't know about yours. Mine's fucking sucked. Um, but I think 2025 is going to be the year either there's fucking nuclear war or like the aliens land. Maybe they're nice, maybe they're not. We'll see. I think 2025 is going to be a very significant year for all of us. So we'll see if it goes well or not. But can't go much worse than this year. So happy New Year, everybody, and
Be safe if you're going out.
Yeah. Don't drink and drive. I've done it before. It's not smart. Don't do it. Don't drink and drive. Call an Uber. Call a Lyft. Get somebody else to drive you. Have fun. Get as drunk as you want. Don't drink and drive.
Don't get alcohol poisoning and die.
Don't get alcohol poisoning. Yeah. But otherwise, get as drunk as you want.
Yeah.
It's the night for it. Don't drink and drive.
Dogs get along with
And we'll see you tomorrow for Dynamite, 7:55. Bye.
Bye.